All right. TGIF, thank God it's Friday, and thank everyone for listening. I hope you had a great week. We have, I'll cover real quickly some good, the bad, and the ugly. We just finished the month, the week, the quarter. And right at the last few minutes, we saw a sell-off in what I would consider to be kind of weird, widely held names. But first, let's review what we've done this week with a few trades. One, namely, was Snowflake, which we gave out. This is one where the volume broke out. Everything looks great. Take some money off the table, jam a stop under the market. I think there might be a little bit more to go. We did everything positive here you want to see in a stock. First, we have a generated PPS buy signal. So this is Charles Schwab Thinkorswim platform, but you lay up my indicator, the PPS, it generates a buy signal. You have your on-balance volume here, broke out, rising as prices were falling. That's a convergence, a bullish convergence. And then we're greater than both the weekly pivot, and now we're targeting closer to getting up into next month, which is July, bullish, in above both its projected new week and projected new month pivot. So as long as the market's bullish, they stay north of that pivot. But we're going to have a protective stop from entry and trail that along the way. So we follow up on that. We gave you Amazon last night on Thursday and saying that Amazon had 2 times its greater volume, and it today opened a little higher and then traded right back down. But it was Mongo, MDB as another one, had great little volume structure. DDOG. So this was the sector I was talking about, that there was a lot of money coming into the cloud storage, which Amazon has. But Amazon is part of the mega cap names and might be a part of a fund. I'll get back to that in a second. Let's take a look at Zscaler, and I think the way this closed with some decent volume. You can also look at Zscaler on an option, an upside call spread. I wouldn't go any further than maybe the 200s, and then do maybe a 200, 210, or you could cheat a little bit and go with the upside weeklies. But you want to give yourself at least 21 days on these instead of going all the way out to August. I think this is a move that'll happen short term. So something less than 21 days, keep it close. That always keeps it real. It does add a little risk, but I think you can do a 10 wide on that. We'll get back to that in the course of into next week, which is, of course, 4th of July. All right, Roku was a weird one. Had a good move. Did close. Just as we got into near the close, it kind of gave back some of its daily gains. Still closed positive on the day. Caesar, CZR. No one had that one coming, but again, that one gave a chance to make a little bit of money to the upside. I still think there's some upside. And then the craziest of all is going to be Southwest Airlines. It's so bad. Volume's up a little bit today. It did not get as strong as a breakout as I wanted. I wanted to see it get above this red line of resistance. We call that a last conditional change. Anyway, that's another one of my little indicators that we created. It was written in a book, Candlestick Pivot Point Trading Triggers, 20 years ago today. It was 20 years ago today that book came out. Wow. All right, so here we go. Southwest might have some upside for maybe testing the 34, 35. July is a really strong month for that time for airlines, and this discounter might do a little bit better. Yesterday I said strange money was going into regional banks. That's the KRE is the symbol for the ETF. And yeah, sure enough, as soon as we walked in, I said regional banks and REITs were gaining some traction to the upside. Friday after the close, big banks all announced they're going to buy Goldman Sachs, Citi, JP Morgan announced that they were going to give a dividend boost, and I think someone said they were going to implement more stock buyback. But that was Friday after the close to conclude the whole month. Anyway, banks are on the upside. Regional banks kind of outperformed a little bit. IYR is the REITs sector, and that too was up today. Not leaps and bounds, but it was definitely a follow through. Now here's what's interesting. If you notice where this is on the close, it's closer to the highs of the day, right? So on a 60-minute intraday basis, you closed on the high. Okay, great. What happened today with a lot of big name stocks? Widely held stuff: Disney, Well, we got to get back over here. I'll give it to you real quick. Disney fell out of bed today. That may be in part because of bad news. It's the same chart pattern, gap lower and traded, same type of thing with Nike. So Disney may have been also tied in with Nike, weak consumer, and maybe some other rumors. But let's take a look at AAPL. Apple, I said. There we go. Last hour, this is a 60-minute chart now. I'm going to rip through these charts to show you something. Last hour, last 15 minutes, actually, Apple's down. Apple breaks this red line, by the way, that's 207. Measured objective is looking more for a correction to the downside. We've got a lower high, lower low targeting for pivots for Apple next week. Kind of interesting. So let's take a look at Google, number 2. So Google, remember, REITs closed on the high for the day and the week. And then now take a look at Google, Alphabet, Disney. Let's try Merck. See anything similar to those patterns the last hour? Everything kind of FSLR, another disaster day. Enphase, ENPH. Enphase actually opened lower. It did just uptick off the low of the day. This is, I mean, check out this volatility. It goes from like 110 like 3 weeks ago, rallies up to 140, and less than 2 weeks later, the stock's back down to 99. Wow. Solar, First Solar, same thing. But anyway, back to my thesis. We have all of these widely held names: Disney, Merck, Apple, Enphase, Meta, all down in the last hour, except for the software apps that we talked about were doing better. So going into the new month, this might be something to keep our eyes focused on. It looks like maybe there could be more rotation or a pause or profit taking, let's call it, in some of the mega caps, and that will cause maybe the S&Ps and the Qs to go down a bit. This is a far stretch, but if we see money going back into regionals, back into interest rate sensitive stocks that have been beaten down for a while, might provide us some, at least for the next week or two, some upside. So I'll do another video. I thought it would be interesting to notice that the funds were busy today doing their little subtle selling off certain sectors, the widely held names, but buying obscured, stupid stuff, as we pointed out in yesterday's video, which did all right. So God bless. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Also, don't forget, subscribe to personsplanet.com. You get these videos and these alerts. I appreciate you watching these. I hope you guys had enjoyed these videos. Give me any comment if you'd like as well to see what we can do to improve these. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, all.